Hi everyone, Emma here. I'm so excited to show you how to make these beautiful circles. We're using them as toggles right now, but as I've mentioned in other videos when I was talking about this one here, I'm going to make a bracelet with this one. So this one here is the one, I did a bunch of different variations of a circle of beads so we could use for a toggle clasp like this to put on our lovely flat chenille stitch. So because the flat chenille is a bit kind of slinky, you kind of want something that's at least the size or close to it of the end of your bracelet so that it kind of fits with it. And let me show you one that I completed. So here's one that I completed so you can see. Now this one's smaller. I used a lot more 15-0 beads for this. And I used Delicas, so they're a bit smaller as well. But, I mean, you get the idea. You can see how this kind of matches up with the edges here. And this way it's not like super flippy floppy. Like you don't have to worry about these edges coming down and stuff. And I mean, once it's on your wrist, let me turn it, you can see. Once it's on there, it lays flat anyway, so not a big deal. So let's take a look. So I'm kind of working with this. Let me see if I have the name of this color. These silver lined milky white, they're so beautiful. I got my 8-0s from Bead Melee, and I got some from Beebeecraft as well. And coming soon to a video near you, I actually bought a factory pack of John Bead beads of 8-0s. I was using so much of them, I'm like, I should just go ahead and buy. So I'll put the link for the for this as well if you're interested. This seller on Amazon is here in Canada, but I think he ships to the US as well. So I'll put the link for both of those Amazon links. I did go and check to make sure that the link worked, and it did work when I put that in there. So let's hope that you can get it if you need it. But what I'm getting at is he has a bunch of the alabaster finish and the silver lined of both 11-0s and 8-0s. He even has 6-0s. So super duper find. So you're going to need your 8-0s. You're going to need your 11-0s. These 11-0s I got from Beebeecraft. I don't know why I have ink on my, it must be from one of the labels. You're going to need some 15-0 seed beads, metallic, and you're going to need some 11-0s. And I have, let me think here for a sec. Yeah, so the 11-0s is just for this little accent. Let me enlarge this. Just for this little accent bead around. So let me, these were in the same bin. I think these are a little, just slightly larger than the other ones. So I think we'll stick with these here. These are champagne. So you don't need many of them. And you're going to, of course, need your thread. So for these, I just used the green. I used dragon thread, and I prefer the green to all others. But, of course, we're using white beads. So I don't know that it makes a difference with this because these are silver lined. And when you look at the inside of one of these silver lined beads, it looks dark anyway on the edge. So for this circle, we're going to actually use the clear, or the white, they call it. I just find the white like shreds a lot, and it annoys me. So you're going to take a wingspan of your thread, whatever thread you use. You can use Nymo thread, 1G thread, and John Bead has a spool of thread. I think it's like at Michael's they sell it, and it's about $12, and it's a big. I'll have to do a review of it because that might be an amazing way to avoid really expensive beading threads. So you're going to start, and I'm using a size 10 needle. Hopefully that works. I'm laughing because I have been switching from size 10 and size 12. I have like probably 10 different projects that are just like sitting ready to go on my desk for a video. So I'm like constantly switching. I prefer a size 10 because it's, for me, I like that it's rigid and it feels longer, but the 12s definitely go through the 15s a lot better. And you know what? I'm thinking of it now. I may have to change this, and I got to clean this. This is bugging me. There. Nothing a little spit won't help. So I think I got distracted there. I was going to show you some of the other options for one of these. So these ones here, I did basically the same. You start with, I think these ones I started with 11 O's in the middle and then worked up to delicas and then to 8 O's. And then I added 2 beads in here to give it a nice kind of outline to the color. And let me just show you the just different colors. So I do find with this one here, you get the space in here, and you can really see it on this one. But you know what? When you're wearing something, you might not notice that. That's a lot. I just realized that now. There's another color. This one is totally different. You can see how it's like rigid. Yeah. I didn't even know if I would redo this one. It's more of a pendant. It's quite big. This one turned out good. So I think this was going to be the one, and then I came out with this one. I thought, no, this is it. This one I added. So we started with the 15s. I think I did 4 rows of the 11 O's. And then, of course, I added those double 15 O's around the edge. I did find this didn't keep its shape. So you can see it's got like a funky shape to it. And I don't know if maybe I just did something weird with my beads. But so yeah, this one is really lovely too. So this one is basically the same thing, only you don't put the 8 O's. So if you ignored that 8 O, it's basically this. It's very lovely. It's so lovely. I think that's it. Okay, so let's get started. And we'll see, I might have to change this. Where are my needles? I keep moving things around here. Nope. I found the size 10s. Okay, so you're going to take and you're going to put 40 15 O's on your line right away. And let me see if I can get this a little brighter here. Okay. What you're going to do is you're going to take in these beads and you're going to put them around the middle of your line. But remember, leave actually more at the end. So rather than go all the way to the middle, stop maybe a little bit more. And all I do for that is I just grab my beads and then I hold it up and I see where my needle ends, kind of thing. So no. So you want a longer piece at the end is what I'm getting at. So it's about there. So now you're just going to take and you're going to go through. So this is my needle thread. And let me adjust this. So I'm going to go through the first bead here to loop it in a circle. The reason I don't like using a size 10 with 15 sometimes if the bead is not the correct size, you can't get that through. But if we come to that, we'll just go ahead and change the needle out. And I apologize, I'm kind of scattered here. A lot on my mind. Very exciting news. There's a video out there. I'm sure you've seen it by now. Okay, so I'm just gonna just pull that somewhat tight. I don't want my thread on that other side, so I'm just gonna move it there. Like that. It is a bit delicate to be working with, so just try and hang on to your thread, your tail thread, and maybe hold on to the piece like that so then it doesn't move. Pick up a 15-0. Your bead is here, and let's enlarge this. So your thread's coming out of this one. You're going to go to the next one, skip it, and then go through the one after that. And I'm just going to hold it with my thumb so it doesn't get all messed up. Just looking at this. So the two first beads should be sitting side by side. Grab a hold. Okay, like that. So pick up another, and we're going to do that for the whole way around. So I'm coming out of this one. We're going to skip the next one and go through the following one. Like that. And when you go to the next, you can pull it tight. It's nice if it stays. I think it gets a little better as we get going. So pick up another, skip the next one, go through the following bead. Pick up another. Coming out of here, you're going to skip that one and go through the very next one. And I'm just using my fingers to pop the beads out so I can get my needle in. Pick up another, skip and go through the next one. That. This is probably like the most complex part of this whole thing. So you'll be glad. Of course, I give you the most complex with 15 beads. Here's the thing. So I watched a video from Stephanie from Bronze Pony, and she was basically doing the same kind of thing. And how you do this circle, because of course your circle gets bigger as you go out of the 15s. So you need to keep increasing the size of your bead for it to lay flat. If you want, you can make it rounded. And that's what I did with some of those other ones, but I felt they were too chunky. So, but what I'm getting at is you can go ahead and switch these to 11s. This is not the right bead. So switch your 15s to 11s, and then your 11s to the 8-0s. Just keep going here. And this does go faster once. I mean, it's always slower in the video because I'm talking and showing you things, and just keep going. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to ask. I'm just gonna see, I think there's a knot in my thread here. That happens when you fold over too much thread. There we go. It gets twisted on the other. So let me extend that so it doesn't twist again. Let's twist again, like we did last summer. Let's twist again, any time of the year. I think that's the words. So just coming into this one, you're going to skip that one and then go through this one. Make sure I got the right one here. Yep. So this is your basically your structure for the rest of your beads. So I take my time with this. Make sure I have the right bead. There. I'm having problems seeing even with my glasses, but my wife looked up our insurance and it looks like I'm due for new glasses. We're allowed every 2 years. I'm like, honey, I can't see even with my glasses. You know, your brain still tells you you're young. It's your brain's fault, it's not you. That's why people are in denial. It's not my fault. We're almost there. And I try to keep it so it's nice and circular. Sometimes, you know, if you're not paying attention or your tension is tighter at the beginning, you end up with like a lopsided piece. Now you can adjust it, but it's nice to finish off perfectly round. So we're coming to our last bead. So pick up your last bead. Let me get this out of the way here. So you will be kind of messing around with your tail, getting it out of the way till you go to use it, of course. Okay, so last one. Let's take a good look at this. So the thread is coming out of this bead right here. We're going to skip this bead. We're going to go through this one here. But because this is peyote, we have to step up. We're going to go through this bead too. So you can go through this one on an angle and get through that. You can do it in 2 steps. It's not a big deal. I just do it sometimes because if I'm not paying attention, I forget where my bead is. But of course, your tail thread is an indicator of where your step up is going to be. So let's put that needle into that bead and then we'll pop through the second row. Pull that in like that. Get our little circle. The circle of life. Can you tell? Look. Okay. So let's move to the next beads, which are the 11-0 silver lined. Let me move that out of the way. These guys. We are going to do 3 times around the circle on this side. Now, when I was saying about half your thread on one side, half on the other, but leave a little more on the tail, you could probably get away with half on each side, but I did find that I was getting a little short on the one side that I wanted, because when we flip this and do the other side, because basically what you're doing, so this is the gold is our middle, so then we're going to do 1, 2, 3 rows of the 11-0, then we're going to do that gold bead. Actually, we're going to flip it before we do the gold bead. I think that's how I did it. Yeah, so this is the side. You can see. Makes sense now. Okay, so you've got your 3 rows of the 11 O's. You can put your 8 O's in there. Then when we go, we're going to flip it and we're going to go back to those 15 O's and we're going to do the same side on this side, but then we're going to add the metallic bead, the gold bead, and then we're going to zip it together. So it's actually like a little circle inside because you got 2 sides coming together. I'm trying to think of the word, like a tube inside. So let's go. Pick up one. Coming out of this gold bead, you're going to go through this one. And as you're doing this, you're always going to be loose on your stitch. Now this one I am going to pull because it was kind of distorted a bit there. I don't want to be wonky. So now we'll just keep going around. And this is easy now. We have our sticking out beads. So it makes it easy to know where to put things. Go to the next one. So you're just filling in the slots, so in between these 2 beads. So go through the next gold bead, that. And I'm getting them to try and get them to kind of sit straight up there. But again, it doesn't matter, when you go to put the next row, they'll straighten out. I find this design very forgiving that way, so that was kind of one of the reasons why I ended up with this design. There's all kinds of videos on how to do this type of toggle. There's videos, I'm just going to extend my thread. There's videos for pendants. So if you do these a lot bigger, you can use them as pendant. You can use these, like these, for earrings. You can loop them in like a big earring and stuff like that. So yeah, they're so cool. So let's just keep going here. Oh, that was the tiny one. Oh, looks fine. Went for a swim this morning with my wife, and I am shocked. We were the only 2 people in the pool, in a big city pool. Like, it's right downtown in Halifax. But people must be on vacation, I guess, out at the cottage. It's a lot of seniors that use this pool, so I think, and it's a lap pool. So, like, it's a competitive pool, so there's no slide, there's no fun zone or anything like that. So, they do have aerobic classes all week, but I think they're really well attended, the aerobics classes, and the instructors were on vacation for a couple of weeks, so there was nobody. It's fine for me. I feel like a celebrity swimming in the pool with my wife. We have a lifeguard to each of us because they always have 2 lifeguards. So this is like turning out so beautiful. I don't know, I could just do this all day. They're so beautiful, these beads. Okay, so this is the last one. So you can see there's a slot there to put that bead in. So when you come to the end like that, you always want to step up. So you're going to go through the gold bead and then through the next silver line bead. So I'm just going to take it this way and go a bit on an angle like that. That's my bead. Now I'm ready for my second row. Now I'm going to put these in between these silver line beads. So you see how much fun this could be. Trust me, it's fun. It's easy. You won't pull your hair out. I don't mean you, Patty. I'm just kidding. So Patty has been trying to do some of the more intricate beading designs that I do, and she's so funny. So she emails me and she's like, "Okay, what did you mean by this?" Yeah, I think, this is why I kind of do my videos the way I do. Like, I try and make it so anybody can do it, and anybody that doesn't have any knowledge of beading. So you can sit down, I show you what you need, you sit down and you just follow. Now, I don't know if that's delusional, but you never know until you try. I'm starting to sound like my mother. Try new things. Your life will be so much happier. Me and my sister Sylvia used to um, try and figure out like different courses to take and stuff like that, something new. We did ceramics classes and it was a lot of fun. So let me know what you're doing this summer since it's almost over. I can't believe it. It's frustrating, but I have to um, be grateful that I'm as healthy as I am. But of course, with my SI joint and my back problems and waiting for the injection, I'm still waiting. It's like crickets trying to get notification for an injection that will totally get rid of my back pain. This one's small. So, but yeah, at least I'm able to get around. I have somebody that can help me, and so okay, so this is the last one on row 2. So we're going to put a bead right in between there. You can kind of see there's a gap. We're going to go through that bead there, and then we're going to go through the bead right next to it on an angle to step up for our third row, and then we're going to turn it around. Like that. So now we're on our last row on the side. We can decide whether we're going to put the big 8/0s in there or not. Just keep filling the slots. Oh, that one's all weird, eh? It's like sliced on the half. There was a little one there I wanted to get rid of. This one. I use those for stop beads. There. So you get really fast at doing these. This summer we've had a lot of road construction, and I was thinking, I think when I see people, we live out kind of in the country. If you call the ocean the country, I think of like farm fields with the country, but we're out in the boonies kind of thing. But we're right on the ocean. But people go, they have a cottage and they go to the cottage all weekend and stuff. People that are retired. So, my house is my cottage. Me and Jen have slumber parties at night, stay up and watch movies. But I'm thinking with all the road work and construction, we've had construction on this street the last couple of days, and now we have it throughout the neighborhood. and you're sitting in your car for 15, 20 minutes trying to get through traffic. Like, it's getting crazy. So I totally get why people leave the city for the country on the weekends to have a little kind of peace and quiet. We're lucky we don't have a lot of kids on our street. One summer, so we live by a military base, an Air Force base, and there's a lot of families that buy houses here, and then they get deployed, or they get placed somewhere else. So the houses go up for sale all the time. So we see a huge influx of families. One summer, we were doing huge renovations, and there was kids on the street screaming, and skateboards on the sidewalks, and like making the same noise all the time with the skateboard jumping the curb. Okay, so we're on the last one here. So it's going to go right in this spot here. We're going to bring our thread across into that next one. We can decide. Can you tell I'm very indecisive? I need you to help me. Should I put them there? Let's put the big ones in. These are the 8/0s. So now, so you can see as we got further away from the 15s, the space in between the 11/0s got bigger. So now a 8/0 will actually fit like that. So let's go ahead, and we're just basically going to do the same thing all the way around. Again, keep it nice and loose, like not loose where the thread's coming out, but don't pull it tight, because if you do pull it tight, it will actually round it, and you don't want to do that. We can do that on the front side because we're going to bring it around like this. But I don't do it as I'm adding, I just do it in the final row so that they come together nicely. So good news today. Well, I guess it started yesterday. I have an air cast for my foot that I fractured, and so I thought yesterday I'd try to. It wasn't very sore, and I've had it for 4 weeks now. So I thought I'd try going barefoot through the house. And that's what I did, and it worked. So this morning when I went to the pool, I actually swam and did a full kick. That was so exciting. Because then when you're kicking regular, because what I was doing was I was only kicking with one foot, so I'm kind of like going down the lane line like that, like a fish, right? And when you have a good strong kick on both sides, you're very streamlined. You go straight down and you really glide. So yeah, I'm not wearing it. I'm sitting. I have my my deck shoes, which are Crocs that are sandals. So there's a bit of like an orthotic shape to the inside arch. So I'm using those around the house to keep my foot stable. So it's nice. So excited because I was really worried and thinking, oh my gosh. The pain was like continuous. I couldn't walk, but I'm doing everything the doctor said. I started taking collagen peptide every morning, 10 milligrams. Just mix it in water and drink it. Started eating more protein, and stopped doing keto. And I'm now just eating regular, but with eating like a diet for an athlete with protein and stuff like that. So I think all of those things are finally kicking in and helping. Look, it's so pretty. I think I'll be definitely making, so that for the last one, I'm going through the last 11 and then I'm going to go through that. We probably won't need this thread, but we'll wait till the end to weave it in case, something happens, you need it. So there. So now I'm just going to turn it over and grab my thread on this side. And if we look on this side, the thread should be, it should be on one of the inside beads, like the lower beads of the 15. So we're going to take our needle, put it on here. We're going to go up through this one, and then we're going to start adding. This next row is a little bit finicky, but I'll go slow so you can see how it works. So let's take this off and put this one on. The other thing of a 10 size 10 needle, bigger eye. I've been rewatching The Handmaid's Tale. Anything that sounds like it, I'm like, under his eye. No, it's the eye of the needle. Okay, so the thread's coming out of this bead. I want to be on one of the high beads. I know that's really hard to see. So let's get our needle in there like that. There. So now we're going to pick up the 11 and we're going to do the same as what we did for these guys. So we're going to go in between the sticking out beads. Let's see if I can. So this is a sticking out bead and our thread is coming out of this one. There's another sticking out bead. So we're going to go through that one, and I have my 11 there. Now for these, you're not going to pull these tight, and you'll see why. They're going to look funny sitting there, but once we add the following row, so this one's not too bad. It sits nicely on top of the work like that. That's what you want, because eventually this is going to come over to this side. So we just continue on like that. So pick up the next one. You're coming out of this gold bead. You're skipping that little one below and then going through the next sticking out bead like that with your 11 So I'll go really slow for the next couple. So this is what I mean by it starts to look weird. So there's definitely, because the inner circle, those sticking out beads are closer together than they are in the outside, and the bead doesn't fit, which is fine because we're just going to leave it like that. They're going to all start to line up this way where you can see the hole here. But as long as they're all in the correct orientation like that all the way around, when we go to do our second row, there's lots of space between this one and that one to attach them. So let's grab the next one, go through the next sticking out. And that's why I was saying don't pull them tight. Just snug. Go through the next one like that. And make sure. So you can take and hold it like this and put your thumb there so that those beads stick. There. Let's see. There. Because they might want to fall inside, but that. I heard my wife outside my door. I wonder what, it's probably like dinner time. Let me see. Oh yeah, it's dinner time. Yeah. Let's go through. So this one, I don't like the way it's sitting. Let's make sure it's nicely positioned. Bring those there. There. And we'll keep going around. I got a package from Amazon today. Oh, I put 2 beads on there. And they put a lot of packing paper, and it was all one long piece. Guess what my cat was doing? Oh my god, it was so funny. We had just gotten back from swimming, so we were making breakfast in the kitchen, and I threw the long piece of paper, it was all scrunched up, so I unraveled it and put it in the living room for him. I can hear him like dive bombing the paper and totally going crazy. I go and look. He plays with tennis balls, and what he does is he grabs them between his paws and then he kicks it with his back paws. And then he like picks at the green fuzzy stuff, and he was kicking the tennis ball across the paper and then dive bombing it and catching it and rolling on his back with it in his arms, and like cheapest cat toy on Amazon is the packing paper. So you can see it's starting to really stay kind of nice in the right position, those beads. And again, you know, the middle part is probably the most part that's gonna make you think, is this how it's supposed to be? Is this how it's supposed to be? No one told me life was gonna be like this. We come from a generation where our parents didn't talk to us about stuff. We're supposed to figure it out on our own. Yeah. I don't know if we would have listened. Don't you think? You know what? As an adult, I don't know where this comes from, but maybe it was years of people mansplaining to me. That's my excuse. This one, I want to make sure that this is, yeah, it's fine. It's fine, Emma. So my wife tells me that I don't like people to tell me how to do things. I'm like those little kids. No, no, mommy, let me. Me do. I'm laughing because she's telling me this. When we do renovations, the first couple of times we did it, I was really shocked. So she would say, step aside, let me do it. Hello? Whose tools are these? She's like, oh, give it to me, I'll do it, right? So it was so funny. The first renovations we did, we fought over who was going to do, like, you know, screw in a light bulb kind of thing and use the tools and stuff like that. So when we went for the next, okay, I'm going to pause here for my little stories. We are getting ready to do the next row, which is still going to be 11s. This is the last bead that's that lower row. So I'm going to go through that 11 of the gold, and then I'm going to go through the very next white bead, silver line bead. So this one might be hard to get on an angle, so we'll do it in two. Yeah, we'll do it in 2 sections here. So there's that one, and then go through this one. So that's why I say go through the next one at the same time, because if you look at this, it doesn't look right, but trust me, it's right. So let's Get these guys all sitting up like that. So we're going to do 2 more rows of the 11 O's. So now we're just going to attach all of these together like that. So yeah, the next time we went to do renovations and we went to the hardware store, I got my own hammer. Of course, she grew up poor, so she's like really, I would say, cheap. But I don't say that to her face. Actually, I do now. And then she threatens to give me a black eye. So she's like, why do you need that? And it was a small hammer. And she was like, oh, you don't need that hammer. No. I'm like, no, I want this hammer. Because every time I go to use the hammer, you're like, you have it. So we need 2 hammers. Go figure, we are tearing down the bathroom, the only one that has a shower in it, and the walls are all crooked. So we had to take all, and we were putting in a surround shower, so we had to make sure the wall was even. So when you go to put in a surround shower, it sticks out, but the lip of the actual shower stall goes underneath the drywall. So we had to take all the drywall off, and when we did that, the beams were all crooked. So we had to, you can buy a bag of what they call furring sticks. So they're just like wedged sticks, and you hammer them together, and you fill the gap that's missing between that beam and where your drywall's going. I know, very complex. You don't need to know this, but it was really funny. So she's trying to straighten out the walls. It's really frustrating. And you're doing this in a tiny, tiny little room, right? And it's hot. And it's in the summer. There's dust everywhere. And she's hoarding all the tools. So I go and get my little hammer. And I go on YouTube and I look, and I don't know why. Maybe I just looked up furring, crooked walls or something like that. And there was a guy who had the hammer that I had. And he said, this is how you should use this hammer. And what it was a tiny little hammer. It had a little hole in the head of the hammer. And it's magnetic. So you take your nail and you slide it through that slot so it holds it there. So when you go to hammer, you actually hammer in the nail without holding it, without your fingers getting in the way. I was furring those sticks together so fast, she didn't know what happened. I said, yeah, I got to show you my hammer that you thought I didn't need. Watch this trick. Oh my gosh. And then I wanted a tool belt. So my dad worked in construction, and when he was working around the house, he'd wear his tool belt too, right? So it's not like an accessory to look like you know what you're doing. It's actually so that you have your tools when you need them. When you climb up a ladder, when our bathroom was on the second floor of the house. All our tools are in the basement. So I loaded up my tool belt, had a pencil, had this, had that, had some tape. So Jen's trying to cut the drywall, and she's like, oh, do you have a pencil or a pen or something? And I'm like, I'm just checking the direction of this thread here for this bead. I think I need to go like this. There. I'm like, let me check my tool belt. And of course I exaggerate, pull out, oh, here's the pencil you can use, but give it back to me. Stuff like that. It was so funny. Yeah, I'm sure she was laughing. So, do you know what's funny? That was probably 6 years ago. Guess who comes knocking at my office door when I'm doing beading videos? My wife. And she's like, do you have a tiny hammer? Do you have a small screwdriver for like glasses and stuff? So I show her my tools. This is where my tools are. You may come into my office and utilize my tools, but make sure you put them back. So that was the last one of that second row. So it might look a bit, it's not too bad. So we just keep going. We got one more. You can see how pretty now the middle's starting to show. And I'm looking at my thread. I still got a fair amount of thread. So you can take your thumb and kind of push them down a bit so you can really see how lovely this is. You could do all kinds of designs in here, like with different color beads, or an accent of a gold circle, or maybe every other. Yeah, this is lovely. So where are my two now? Oh, I need it. So that was the last one. I didn't go through the next bead for the step up. So if you take a look, it's hard to see. I'll try and show you with my needle. My thread is coming out here from this one here. So I need to go up through that next bead. It's just slightly visible that that's the sticking out bead. Let me get in here. There, like that. There. So now we're going to go from this one to this one. You can kind of see there's a little bit of a space. Let's see if I can slide these in a little faster. Get to the next step. Let's move this up a bit so I don't get too low on the screen. Let me see if I can show you. Okay, that one, there. So my thread's coming out of here. I'm just looking at my screen to see if you can see what I'm seeing. Yeah. So, and then we're going to go through this one with our bead on there. And just do that. So it's pretty easy if you can see it. That. So when it comes to doing renovations, we talk a lot about it. So we talk about our roles. It just, what, I heard somebody say, it was a commercial, I think, and I'm trying to think, I don't think they were doing renovations, they were doing something else, a couple, and they said, and we're still married. I cracked up when I heard that. I said to Jen, look at that, that's funny, isn't it? Shaking her head. So now I've gotten to the point where it's like, if you want to take the lead, go ahead. I can do it. And I definitely, throughout jobs, I will say, is there anything I can help you with? I feel like you're doing everything, and I don't want you to get stressed out. So I try and, come up with some stuff that I could do to make it easier on her. She, when we have people in the house working, she stays with them the whole time. I don't know if that'll happen with we're going to have like a couple of weeks of workers in the house. The deck that was put on this house before we bought it, they put it on incorrectly, and it's rotted all the wood on the side of the wall at the back of the house. So that's like, you know, you're getting into structural stuff that's pretty serious. So that's going to take a couple of weeks of remediation and potentially redoing the deck and redoing the siding and stuff like that. And I told her, I don't know, it's going to get into my bead money. My sisters laugh, and my mom used to go to bingo all the time. She's saying, yeah, bingo money. So this is the last one of this row. So you can see this is the area that it's going to go in. That's the bead we're going to go through, but we're going to step up to the next one. So that's, I got my bead on there. So take it on an angle like that through those two, like there. Okay, so now we're going to put the 8-0 champagne because I want it kind of highlighting the front of the, so you see the back is plain. And you can switch this up too, like if that's how you want, you know, you can have it plain on one side and not on the other. Oops, that's way too many. Okay, so these are 11-0 champagne gold. Take one. We are coming out of this bead here. We're going to go into this bead. So again, it's just peyote. We're filling in the slots like that. And you don't have to pull on these ones either. Now, you can go through your work at the end to reinforce it. And I actually did that for a few. And it made it a little more snug, sturdy. So. And just I want to make sure that this is in focus for you. Didn't mean for the lighting to get light like that or dark. I think, you know, there's like flowers. I would do like a flower design bracelet where I wouldn't even close it. Keep it like out. Maybe add the like dagger petals. That would be so cool. So I think this is an hour for this part. So I think what I'm going to do is finish this off, show you how to zip it together, and then we'll come back and we'll do the toggle and the attachment for this piece here and put it on the bracelet. I think that makes more sense than, you know, going into a 2-hour video. I am still up for a marathon. I put too many beads on there. See if I can scoop that one. There. That just tangled. That's not nice. Oh, what the heck? Let me just go back through that. Didn't like that at all. Oh, I see it's on, it's hooked on a bead. And that, it hooked on the previous bead. So let me just take the one off. There we go. Wouldn't be beading if it didn't get hooked. We may have a visitor. I hear Jen walking around. We had the first stage of our renovations completed this week. They did a great job. We had cracks in the foundation. When we bought the house, it was like that. We got a really amazing price. Okay, so this is the last one for here. So we're going to go through this silver lined, and we're going to go through that one, the gold. And just make sure your thread doesn't hook on the bottom row. Okay, so now what we're going to do is so this is how I'm holding it now, but I'm going to flip it so that I can start weaving them together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, basically the gold bead is going to sit in between these big 8/0s. So we're going to go through the 8/0 like that, and then through the 11/0 gold bead, that, and pull it in. So to just make that a little quicker, we're going to go through this 8/0, and we're going to go on an angle through the 11/0 like that, and see how fast that just zips right up. And I'm pulling my thread backwards so it doesn't get crossed over when we're bringing these together. Oh, like that. And that. The cat's doing really well with the renovations. I was really surprised, but I think he is going off of our reaction to the noise. So now he is not afraid of the vacuum cleaner, although he's a bit alert when the vacuum's going. But we've never, we always make sure he has a way to get around us when we're vacuuming. So if he's like sitting on the windowsill and I'm coming towards the window, I always say, "Okay, kitty, let's go. Time to go." And I let him go by, and then so he's never, had issues, but he does get freaked out over thunderstorms. He goes and hides under the bed, and the bed has a really low frame. So once he's under there, we can't get him. It would be terrible if there was a fire or something. Apparently that's how a lot of them perish. So now I'm just holding with my fingers and squeezing it tight. Now this thread, for some reason, I guess these needles, I think they're John James needles. The eyes are a little bit bigger than I like, so the thread slides out a bit if I'm not holding on to it. So just keep going. And we're almost done. So go through, oops, butterfingers. There. And this is the last one. Go through that 11/0 gold bead. And that's just my tails got hooked there. Bring it tight. This is what it looks like. This is so lovely. So now what you can do is you can either take this, reinforce if you want, Since we just did this one, I would probably take this one and thread it through and cut it off. Or, like, I still have a fair amount, you can use this to attach to your bracelet. And then you can take this one here, which is from the back. So if you see this bead's a bit off to the side, you can take, and you can see if I pull that a bit, it tightens everything. And you could weave, go through one more time, weaving back and forth like I did to the front, or you can just sew it in and you're done. So that is this lovely. So we'll be back and we will do the toggle to match it and attach it to the bracelet. So there you go. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.